Hello, everyone. Good morning and welcome to Wow Wednesday. Dun, 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 dun. I am your host, Nancy Matthews, one of the founders of Women's Prosperity Network. And today I am absolutely delighted to bring you someone that I love a lot. I've known for my entire life. She is a Fortune 100 company trainer, leader, speaker. She's a master at sales, at communication, and quite frankly, at rock and roll, because she rocks. So welcome, my sister, Trish Carr. So happy to have you today.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here. I rock.
You do rock. You rock.
I know.
You roll. You rock and you roll.
I do.
All right. So, Trish, today I invited you to come on primarily because we've been having some conversations with our members and our coaching clients recently, struggling with sales.
That four-letter word that has five words, five letters, I mean.
Yes. And I get it because it can feel so icky or sleazy or uncomfortable, and then there's the whole aspect of, well, these are my gifts, so I shouldn't get paid for my gift. Like, there's so much mind chatter around this, and I wanted you to come on today because you've written co-written the book. It's Just a Conversation, and you guide people so beautifully in remembering that. There it is.
Yes, there it is. It's just a conversation. Yes. Yes. I think there's, okay, so let's go back to the beginning. When you become a business owner, knowing that you have a particular skill. So I'm going to make it simple. The person who is a colorist or a hair salon, someone who knows how to make your hair look fabulous, you know your craft. And when you open a business, what are the first things you do to learn? You learn how to set up your LLC, you learn how to set up your books, you get yourself a bookkeeper perhaps, you learn how to market. But one of the things we often don't learn is how to sell. And if we don't know how to sell, it's really going to be challenging to have people buy our stuff. I mean, that's all there is to it. Because like almost everything in life, sales is a process. And for me, I always say that I love math. I love math because it's A plus B equals C. All the time, every time. A plus B equals C, or 1 + 1 = 2, however you want to look at it. It doesn't deviate. It always follows the plan. It's always yes or no. Sales is the same way. It's a process. And most of us don't learn the process. We learn the marketing process, right? Think about how many classes you've taken on marketing and what you've learned about marketing. Now, what's the difference between marketing and sales? And that's the biggest thing, is knowing that marketing is attracting people to you. Marketing is getting people to see, oh, this is interesting. Oh, this might be for me. And we're really good at branding. Like, we think about what our colors should be and what color should I wear my branding colors.
Or what should I name my program?
What should I name it? What should I name my business? But the bottom line is, if people are interested in what you have, you've got to be ready to offer them your services, number one, which means your pricing, how you package things, because you could just tell people, well, it's 4 hours and it costs this much money. But the fact is, people like to hear, what are you going to get done in that 4 hours? So you learn all of those things, but you don't learn how to go from, I'm interested, to, great, here's my credit card. Mm-hmm. So it's all about the process. And that's what I see as the biggest breakdown when we become an entrepreneur. We kind of wing it when it comes to the sales. We learn from each other. And, they say practice makes perfect, but that's not true. If you're not doing it the right way over and over, it's not making you perfect.
Right.
So
if I keep practicing an ineffective strategy,
correct.
or if I'm practicing tennis and I'm doing my arm like this and I'm meant to go like this.
Yes, if I'm hitting a forehand when I should hit a backhand, right?
Yeah.
So yes, so sales is a process, and I'd love to share with you, talk a little bit about that process today so that you can understand what it is I'm talking about and you can make a shift right away.
Yeah, do it. Take us away. And just so everybody knows, today we're giving you a double header about sales because it's just that important. Think about this. You have a business and you have services and products that you want to deliver. Without sales, you're not delivering those things. Without sales, how are you going to keep your doors open? Without sales, you're not actually making the impact you're here to make. So this morning we've got Trish with us to share her brilliance in sales and strategies and easy conversations. I don't want you to get hung up on strategies. It's easy conversations. Then today, later today at 5 p.m. Eastern, I'm giving you another opportunity with a free class that I'm teaching that I call unlearning. Because the truth of the matter is, just to Trisha's point, if you're practicing things and they're not actually working, that means the learning or the thought behind the way you're now doing it, we need to unlearn it and learn a new way. So that's what I want to share with you this afternoon. So bring it all in and imagine today is, the day where you get to say, I am stepping up to serve more.
Mm-hmm. Serve more.
The first shift we'll make. So take it away, Trish.
Well, and that, Nancy, I'm so glad you talked about that because me, I go right to the left brain, right to this is how you do it. But the reality is it's a conversation. And you've got to go into that conversation with, first of all, it's really going to sound weird. No agenda, but a little agenda, right? When you go into a call, now let me first make a distinction. There are different types of conversation around sales. Mm-hmm. There is the conversation that you've told me that you're interested and we set up a time to talk. That's different than I met you at the grocery store yesterday and you and I hit it off in line and I find out you just started a business and now I want to know more about you. So now I call out of the blue or I call after seeing you yesterday and it's cold, if you will. Like we just met. So it's kind of warm, but it's still kind of cold. So those are two different situations. The one where you're going in and you're going to be speaking about your services, people call those discovery calls or strategy calls. And that's a little different because when you say to people, let's talk about what is going on with you and how I might be able to support you, it's clear that you're going to have a conversation about your services. So that's a separate conversation. And as a matter of fact, it's such an important conversation that we do a sales training. So write this down, September
22nd and 23rd.
22nd and 23rd of next month, we're going to be doing our training on sales. And in that, we're going to break down both of these conversations because both are important. Today, I want to focus on the conversation regardless of whether you are meeting someone for the first time-ish or someone that you are having a discovery call. The process of sales is the same. How you do it is a little bit differently. So the process is always 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But how you get into the conversation is a little bit different. And we go into minute detail when you are at our sales training. So be sure to join us at that because I'm going to give you lots today, but you're going to get so much more in a 2-day training. So the sales process to break it down is really 12 steps. But today I'm just going to focus on the breaking it into 4 simple steps, right? So the first thing is that okay, so let me do it this way. So have you ever been in network marketing? If you haven't, one of the things you learn in network marketing is to just talk to people about what you do. Just talk to people. You're at the gas station plugging in the gas, talk to people. You're at the grocery store, talk to people. Well, I'm really good at that. I don't know about you, but not everybody's really good about making a conversation out of nothing. So the other thing they tell you is let them know about your product. And here's what's great about it. This is good. This is good. Talk about your product. So if you meet someone who's relatively new, and I don't mean this to insult anybody, please, I'm just making an example. But when I meet somebody in network marketing who just got started, or when I first got started, I used to just meet people and they would say, oh, yes, I'm very interested in taking care of my health. And I would say, oh, my gosh, well, have you heard of this particular product? And they'd go, no. And I'd say, oh, you know what it does for you? It helps your body get rid of free radicals. It helps your body deal with inflation. It makes it so much easier for you to lose weight and stay healthy and have a good tummy. Meanwhile, I'm going on and on about this. Do I even know if they have to have a good tummy, if their stomach hurts, if they want to lose weight, if their body isn't working? I don't know any of this. All I do is spew my information. So the number one thing we want to do in a sales environment, and this is important, you might want to write it down. Number one, uncover their needs. Their needs, not your needs, or not what you think the product will do for them, because you know what it'll do for them. But do they care? If they don't have any irritable bowel syndrome, or if they don't have gut health problems, or if they don't have any issues with their tummy, why are you talking about their tummy? So you've got to uncover their needs by simply asking questions. Mm-hmm. You're so good at this, Nancy. What makes you so good at asking questions?
So a few things. One is the probably the most important is I approach every conversation, connection, meeting, follow-up call. My energy that I bring to that is genuine interest and curiosity about the other person.
Oh, that is it. You said it.
Genuine. When anytime, even if I know I've got, we got a 2-day sales training coming up, and yes, we want you to get tickets to it. And so I might be making calls to follow up about that. But that's not why, it's not the only reason I'm calling. I call first to be curious, what's happening with you, what's going on. So I want to ask questions. Hey, how are you doing? You got any trips planned? How's your health? How's your hubby? Blah, 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 before I say, hey, come to my training.
Yes. And I'm so glad you said that, because the first thing you want to do is create some rapport between you. Right.
And here's the thing. And I need to say this right now. We all know in all of the sales training we've gotten, step number 1, build rapport, use the FORM acronym to build, we all know the steps to take, but I got to get you to what's the energy you're bringing. Because if you're just following the system to try to manipulate something, it's not going to produce the results.
Yes. And how many of us don't even want to answer the phone because on the other end of the phone, somebody is selling us something, right? Whether it's going to be a timeshare, insurance for your car, there's so many, all day long, your phone is ringing to sell you something. And the worst thing you want to be is that person. Hey, I met you at a networking meeting and you told me you were interested in getting your tummy fixed. Let me tell you all about my product. Mm-hmm. Nah, that's not it. It's, hey, how you doing? And if you're smart, You get on LinkedIn, or you get on Facebook, or you look on Instagram, or whatever platform you use, and you see what's going on in their life. So when you call, when you connect, it's, oh my gosh, I saw that you were in Paris last week. Tell me all about it. Now, when you do that, think about the mood that person is now going to be in when they talk to you. Don't you want people in a happy mood?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So first you want to establish rapport. And by establishing rapport, it really does mean that you ask questions. How was Paris? How did your daughter like Paris? Oh my gosh, what did you learn there? Whatever. But it's about having that conversation. And there are certain questions you can even ask in that first conversation after meeting at the grocery store that can lead you to your service or your business. So, for example, I might say, wow, how great for you that you were able to be in Paris for 2 weeks. How did your business manage without you? I want to know that, because if it's a challenge, I would love to help them not be a challenge the next time.
Right. Or, and let me say, the other side of that question is, how did your business run? They may actually end up telling you some secret or tip you hadn't even thought of yet.
Absolutely. I'm going to learn something as well.
Right.
So it's a real conversation. And then when there is some kind of an indication, so for example, let's say, you're somebody who's a sleep expert and they say, oh, I loved Paris, but I have to tell you that my husband has insomnia and he has a really hard time with the time change. So when it was 6 hours ahead, he couldn't even fall asleep. And I was like, oh my gosh, the poor guy, how does that make him feel? Notice I want to know, how does that affect his life? Because
as opposed to, oh, I could help him with that. You want to hire me?
yes. Because you're so excited. Oh, here's an opening. Oh, I can say something, but no. How does that make him feel? Oh my gosh, how long has he been living with that? That's just terrible.
And then how is that for you? Like really expand on those pieces. It's
exactly. And she says he wakes up every morning and he just wants to go back to sleep. And I feel so bad for the guy dragging his body out of bed after he worked all day yesterday and never really got the sleep he needed. And you know what? It's making his attitude a little short. He's a little in a bad mood later in the day when he gets home. And it's just, it's not good. It's causing fights for everybody. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry you're dealing with that. Then you pull out the magic phrase.
we love the magic phrase.
The magic phrase. So the magic phrase is, you ready? Want to write it down? The magic phrase is, wow, I'm so sorry that you're dealing with that. That is actually in my area of expertise. Would it be okay if I asked you a couple of questions? I might have some suggestions as to what he can do. Boom, that's it. Would it be okay if I asked you a couple of questions? I might have some suggestions. That's my area of expertise. Boom, just write it down. That's it. Ask the question, and then they say, of course you can ask me some questions. And now you have the opening to find out really what's going on. How's it affecting him? How long has he been dealing with it? And how's it affecting the rest of you? So you find all of that out and you take some notes about everything she says. And now you can make a good recommendation, not just shooting from the hip. Here's my product. You have to have it. Here's the latest thing I'm selling.
This is a great distinction you're dialing in on right now. So everybody really pay attention, because by asking these questions, it allows you to, as Trish said, make a really good customized recommendation. Even though it's your standard offering, you're customizing the way you speak about it to be connected to what they're experiencing instead of these generalities. right?
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, sometimes it seems almost too simple. Almost too simple. When I used to sell telephone services to offices, that was my corporate job when I first got into the business of telecommunications. I would ask them questions about so they would call in and they would speak to one person, and one person would be asked the question, what do I need to put in a new phone for my business? And that service rep would say, you need a deposit of $100. The first month is going to be about $35, and it takes 3 days. What's your name? We'll get started. Well, they would say to me, what do you need to get your phone started? I said, well, deposits are generally in the area of anywhere from $100 to $300, depending on your services. And the monthly payment is also different based on your services. Would it be okay if I asked you a few questions to find out how your business runs so that I can make the best recommendation? And by the way, I was always number one in sales, always, because instead of just giving them the minimum, and then, oh, by the way, they would find out because of what they ordered, it's not $100 deposit, it's a $300 deposit, or because of what they ordered, it's not $35 a month, it's $150 a month. Now I don't have to fight all those objections. I already told them it depends on what they're ordering. So it's so simple, yet it's so overlooked. So simply uncover their needs. That's number one. Number two, because you did number one well, number two is so simple. Because you told me that your husband is starting to lose his temper and it's causing you and your family problems. The first thing we'll do when I work with your husband is to work on dealing with that immediate reaction that he has when he comes home from work. So he can learn some tools that in the moment he can calm down and not blow off the handle, right? So if I said that to you after you told me your husband loses his temper, wouldn't you want to know more? Aren't you interested? Of course.
So step two.
Step two is offering solutions to meet the needs. Offering solution to meet the needs. And it really is you saying, because you told me this, I recommend that. Because you said this, I recommend that. So every time you bring it back to them, and I'll give you another little hint. Even before I get into exploring the solutions, I recap what they said to me. So I'll say, gosh, you said your husband is losing his temper at the end of the day. And you also said that he's waking up in the morning and feeling like he has to go right back to sleep. Is that right? And then she'll say, yes. Now, there is some psychology in sales, and I don't want you to get all worked up about it. And I'm going to share with you that the more I can invite you to say yes, the more likely you're going to say yes when I make the invitation to purchase whatever it is you need to get that need met. So the second thing is offering solutions to meet the needs.
Beautiful.
Now, the third step, often people think the third step is,
Give me your credit card.
Well, exactly. The third step is asking for the sale, coming to an agreement, right? It's about coming to an agreement. So asking for the sale is simply asking. And what I do that works really well for me, that I've learned from many other sales gurus and that I know works, is I offer the solution, and then I'll just simply assume that they're going to say yes. So I might say, all right, so the sleep system that I'm going to work with your husband on, I can start that on Monday, or we can start it on Friday. Which do you think would be better? So I'm assuming you're going to say Friday or Monday. Now, many times they'll go, oh, Friday, I don't know, Monday he might not be able to, and is there any other time? So what can happen is now they're going to have questions. Sometimes you don't get the questions until you ask for the sale. Sometimes you'll get these questions before you ask for the sale. Most of the time it happens after you ask for the sale. It doesn't matter. We're going to talk about those questions and how to manage them. And they are just questions. You know, a lot of people call them objections, but they're really not. They're just questions.
Love that.
They're just questions. People think, oh, it's an objection. And my little heart starts to flutter. And if you're anything like me, my face gets all red because I'm so fair, right? You get that, oh my gosh, I was doing so well, but now they have a concern or an objection. They're going to have questions. If they don't have questions, don't be surprised if they shut you down. True.
Questions are good.
Questions are good because now it even gives you more.
Well, and it's an indication of interest.
100%.
Yeah, if they shut you down, if they don't come out any questions, they're like, no, thanks. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any questions? No.
Yes, exactly.
Started? No.
No.
And there's a whole nuance to the way you ask questions, whether they're open-ended or closed. And
yes,
I'm just going to say this today. Our intention, I know Trisha's intention, is to give you some golden nuggets that you can weave into what you're doing right now.
Yep.
And it cracks me up, Trish, when we do our practice sessions or we help people with their closing, presentations, if they're doing webinars, and it flows very easily for us.
Because we've been doing it for years and years and years and years and years.
Right. Before I was in this business, I had another business. And before that, I had another business. I've been in different multi-level marketing companies since I was 25. And I'm a lot older than 25.
Yeah. Not a lot, really. But it's just about, like Roz just said in the comments, it's just gaining proficiency. And the reality is, oh my gosh, if you have someone who's looking over your shoulder in a way, who's helping you structure your calls, who can do feedback on the calls that you had, because let me tell you, those questions, they're going to come. So when you make that offer, a word I never use with a client, just by the way, I never say, so what I'm offering you, or is, well, my offer is never, 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 never. It's always an invitation, never an offer. It sounds too salesy, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. I don't want to sound salesy. I want to sound like your smart friend who's telling you what to do, right? So there are going to be concerns. So step 3 is ask for the sale. Step 4 is manage questions. Just explore the questions. And that's really all you're going to do is explore. I always love to think about this like volleyball. So most of us know how to play volleyball, right? When you play volleyball, you get to hit the ball, and before it goes over the net, you're allowed to touch it 3 times so you can set it up right. So if somebody says to you, oh, I just don't have the money, your first hit over on that ball, which is coming your way, I don't have the money. Your first hit could be, oh, sure you do. And you hit that ball and it ends up in the net. Happens to me all the time. Sure you do. Or you come back with, well, I know other people who thought it was expensive, but it really wasn't. Boom. Maybe you get it and it goes out of bounds. But if you set it up and you come back with popping the ball up in the air so that you can take a better hit at the second time, you're going to probably be able to get it over the net. So the first hit on that ball is simply an acknowledgement of what you heard. An acknowledgement, not an agreement. It could sound something like, it's not unusual for people to have a gulp when we talk about this kind of money. Mm-hmm. Or I hear what you're saying. I know things have changed in the economy today, so we have to really consider how we spend our dollars. That's acknowledging. What we generally want to do is tell them why they're wrong. That's the first thing we do. And when we do that, we hit the net. So the first thing is hit the question up, get it to set up. The second thing, the second hit that's getting you ready to put it over the net is asking a great open question that helps them talk more about what really is going on. Mm-hmm. So it might sound something like, well, tell me if you could have what you want here, what would it look like for you? If money was not the object, what would it look like for you if you could have this sleep study for your husband? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then she'll say, well, I know my life would be better, and I know my this would be better, and I know that would be better. So now you've acknowledged, you've asked an open question. She's given you even more reason why she wants to say yes now, not later. And then the third hit over the net is proposing something. So it could be something like, I hear you that money is tight. I have a couple of solutions around that. And one of them is we could do some simple payment arrangements so that this doesn't hurt your budget. Would $25 a month work for you for the next 6 months or whatever? Right. Mm-hmm. So that could be the first thing. You might also go back to lots of other things in the money. And I have lots of good suggestions there. But here's the big thing. In dealing with questions, you never, or let me say this, you rarely get an objection that you haven't heard before. Right? And yep. Nancy, you talk about this. There's really only 4 reasons why people object. Mm-hmm. And if there's really only 4 reasons, one of them we just talked about is no money. You all know the others. Go ahead and pop it in the comments if you can, because I'd love to hear what objections you get. Because I get no money.
No, I'm too busy.
Yep, here's another one. Ask my spouse. I have to ask my spouse or ask my partner. When somebody says I have to ask my spouse, I have to hold myself back because sometimes it's like, really? I don't know where to begin is really good, Mary Jane. That's another one. That's like, I'm not sure where to go. The other thing is no money, no time. Sorry, I'm just too busy right now. I just can't do it. Can't do it. Sorry, can't do it. No time or no urgency. I put those 2 together. I don't have time now, or I'll do it at the end of the year, or I don't really care about that. I don't care if my husband ever gets sleep, right? Whatever it is. So I have to put me off, ask a spouse, ask a partner, no money, no time or no urgency. And the last one, Nancy, this one you talk about, and you're so right on about it. Share the one about trust. No trust.
No trust. So more likely than not, when you're in a conversation with someone and you get to the point where you're looking to create that agreement to work together to help them solve their issue, you're probably not the first person that they've talked to about this. And you're not probably also not the only solution that they've tried. So the no trust common concern that comes up in this process is either they've tried a whole bunch of things in the past that didn't work. So they don't either trust that it will work, what you're offering will work for them, or I must tell you, more likely than not, they don't trust they'll actually do the work to get the results.
Yeah, that's the truth.
So that's where, and it's so I want you to get, it's never about you or what you're offering. The no trust piece is about them and their past history with having tried to get this solution.
Yes. And the no trust sounds like I've I've spent money on so many different things already, and none of them are working. That's
Yeah.
all you have to hear. And that means the next question is first the acknowledgement. I hear you. I do the same thing. I've bought many programs and sometimes I don't even finish them. Tell me a little bit about the challenges you've run into with things you've bought. Tell me about great expression. They will talk with you. So tell me about how did that happen for you? And they'll tell you, oh, I didn't do it. They didn't do it. You'll find out. And then from there, you can set it up and get it over the net because now you know the real issue. So there's so much more I want to share with you. And I know we don't have time right
Want
now, but I
to
want to invite you to join us in September for the class because I'm going to give you everything you need for volleyballing over the net every single time, for having to handle these simple objections that seem so big to us, and for really following a process that makes you feel comfortable, like you're not selling, but you're just serving. And that's really all we want, is to be able to serve people. And if we don't serve people, we don't have the funds to keep our business going so we can serve more people. So join us in September. Nancy, you'll tell everybody how to register for that?
I'm going to do that right now. And couple of quick things. So first of all, join us this afternoon. So at 5 p.m. Eastern, we're going to continue this conversation to support you in unlearning some things so that it's easy for you to apply the steps that Trish shared today and what we'll also share at the 2-day training. And basically just go to our calendar, womensprosperityNetwork.com, click on the events tab, and you'll see the class that I'm doing this afternoon, which is absolutely free. And then also the 2-day training that we've got in September, the 22nd and 23rd. And for those of you that are in our Momentum coaching program, you already have a ticket, so you don't need to go buy one. We like to take care of you and make sure you're fully equipped. But for those of you who aren't currently in the coaching program, or you just want to get this slice of this workshop, you go to womensprosperityNetwork.com/sales and marketing, all one word, sales and marketing. So go to womensprosperityNetwork.com/sales and marketing, and then you'll enter the coupon code. We like to give you specials. Save 50 and make that all caps. And you'll save $50 off the ticket for this in-depth 2-day training with lots and lots of practice time. So, Trish, what I want to do is open up and give people the opportunity to come on live and ask questions because they love to do that. So if you are with us on your computer, you'll simply hit raise your hand, and then I'll call upon you and it's your turn. If you're here with us on Facebook, you can put a question or comment in the chat there, and I will go ahead and bring your question to the table. And I am going to get started with, actually, before I bring on Laura Barker, I'll bring you on in just a moment. I wanted to also talk about this no trust piece because there's two sides of it, and we addressed one side of it was them not trusting themselves. That they'll follow through. They've tried things before. There's another piece of the no trust, and it might sound something like this, or they might be thinking something like this. They saw, you shared success stories or testimonials of other clients that this worked for. You shared stories of your own personal stories of how it worked for you and the people you've served. But they could be sitting there thinking, sure, it worked for you because you've got a team, because you got this. I don't have all of that.
Right.
So that's the other part of trust that you want to just, and again, we dive deep into all of this when you come to the 2-day training. So anyway, Laura Barker.
Good morning. Oh my gosh. I love when you guys do this, when you come on and the two of you share your wisdom about any particular topic, because it's always so impactful. I learn something every single time. Sorry
You're
about that.
amazing. You're
Um,
amazing.
And what I want to say is that when you were talking about the network marketing, has anybody ever, done that? And what we're trained is just to talk to people and and I've been there, right?
Yes,
The things I
me
do is
too.
market legal shield. And I did exactly what you said, right? I'll just say I vomited all over people, right?
Yes.
We all, right?
I look back at that and just, oh my heavens, I'm amazed anybody even ever talked to me again, right? And what I've learned from you guys is what Trish talks about all the time is it's just a conversation, folks. Let's just have a conversation and move it forward that way. And then the other thing I've learned from both of you too is questions.
Yeah.
How to ask the questions and that sales process that you take us through. So guys, I've been to their workshops more than once, as you can probably imagine. And they have a wonderful 12-step process. It is 12, right? Is it 12?
It is 12.
It is
Yes.
12, right?
It is 12. I broke
I'm
it down
seeing it in
into
my
quick
head.
4.
It's 12 in my head. Yeah. And
Yes.
so it's incredible what this does. And here's the really cool thing. Like each time I go to these workshops, I get better at a couple of those steps, right? Like it's constant refinement. And so when you commit to doing this, what I want to share with folks really is that it will advance you in your business by like at least 6 months. So you can choose not to go and struggle on your own, for the next 6 months, or you can go get this truly valuable information so that you're doing that forehand instead of the backhand or whatever, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right? I mean, who wants to be practicing the wrong move for 6 months? Not
No,
me.
exactly.
So
And that's
I just
the
want to
other
say
thing.
thank you. This is so helpful.
Laura, I'm so glad that it's made a difference for you. And thank you for sharing your experience. I think that what I really love about the class more than anything is I can tell you all day long how to do it, but until you do it and the words come out of your own mouth, you don't even have that experience. So in this play shop, we get to play and practice. What do I say? How do I say that? Did that sound good? Should I try it this way? It's all about the doing. I always like to say, I love Formula One car racing, but I am not going to learn how to do it by watching it on ESPN.
For sure. You know what this is, folks? This is a safe place to fail.
Yes, absolutely. It's a safe place to make mistakes
Yes.
and learn. So thank you so much, Laura Barker. I appreciate you and all that you do.
Yay. So good. Aren't we blessed with this community? Brilliant.
Yes, yes.
And if you're not registered for this afternoon and you can make it, or you would just want to get the replay for this unlearning class I'm doing, go to womensprosperitynetwork.com/skill, because learning sales is you master this skill, or even just get a little better at it. Just get a little better. I don't even need you to be a master yet. Just get a little better. Like, be not afraid to pick up the phone or text somebody or get on a call and answer questions. Just get a little better. And every day you get a little better, that's where mastery comes from. So join us this afternoon as well.
And that's at 5 Eastern, you said?
5 Eastern. Yep, absolutely free. And I
love it. Every time you say that, Nancy, I think of Yoda.
That it's free.
Every time you say about unlearning,
where do you think I got it from?
I know, I have a Yoda doll, and when I press his hand, he says things, and one of the things he says is, "You must unlearn what you have learned."
I'm a huge Star Wars geeky fan, so no surprise you picked up.
You must unlearn what you have learned.
Trish, I want to let you know, Lisa Perez has come up with the title for your next book. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
It's Just an Invitation.
Oh, I love that.
Hello.
I love that. Oh,
write your book on the whole sales process.
I love that.
Just an invitation. Chill out, baby. It's just an invitation.
Yeah, it's like inviting somebody to come to your party.
Exactly.
Come to my party. You're going to have so much fun. Great. I love it. All right. We have so many people with their hands up. Yay, I'm so excited.
Let's go to Dr. Roz.
Good
Well,
morning.
listen. When Lisa said what she said, I already got the graphics for you, Trish. You are on a motorcycle with your leather jacket on.
You know me so well, don't you?
And Lisa, look, we are your content and graphic supporters. I was like,
thank you so much.
see, I'm really animated, and I'm like thinking, oh wait, let me tell her that.
Thanks. I can't wait. It sounds great. I
This is
love
so
it.
good. I want to tell y'all know this is my anniversary, my 4th season. I met y'all in 2019.
Wow.
And no matter what, as Laura says, I know I'm almost sure I've done everything once, and I was blessed with my 3-month session of momentum. But I just want to say that y'all, if you think whomever you're following or listening to, that you have arrived, then you're really still lost up under all the dust in the carpet. We learn more and more and more. And it's not about just how they serve it. It's us opening ourselves up to know thyself, to receive, and then say, I'm going to try this. So y'all have been doing Q-tips. And, since I'm Dr. Smile, I got these little stickers that are smileys. And I just on Monday, I said, no matter what you do, Wednesday, you have got to do your smile calls. So I'm turning my smile calls into the Q-tip deal. So I'm just going to do it because it's just a conversation. But the thing is about the convo, I said it's just a convo for the profo. They don't know that. They're feeling that, but we don't want them to know that. We want them to feel as comfortable that we have engaged with them to learn all about them. And even the craziest person, the meanest person, they like to talk about themselves. We can bring out a smile while we're turning it into the convo about them. Well, what do you like about it? What don't you like about it? We don't have to even say that part because they're going to let you know, but we don't have to take it personal. We can just, like what Trish said, the objectives. It's all about the word positioning, right? As a man thinketh, so is he. Yes. What is the similar word to objective that it's not hard? Like, I don't like the word balance. I like harmony.
Me too.
Harmony, balance is too rigid for me, but this is my world. I'm responsible for framing my world with the information that I'm able to get to help me to be the best disciple and discipline. When you said 12, I was like, disciple up. We better posture up. It is time. So before the close of the year, I know y'all going to see some great and mighty things with me. And I've been running from the grief thing, but God has given me new flavor for how to present that thing. It's not easy, but that's what it is for me. And I have got to make it more palatable for people to understand, to be prepared, spirit, mind, body, and financially, because that industry is taken for granted of people. Why are you still paying for a $25,000 funeral for someone who is gone?
Ashore? Do you know about Ashore plans, financial plan, funeral plans?
No, I don't.
Oh, girl, we need to talk. Send me a message.
Okay, we'll talk. And I know I've taken long, but y'all, I'm just saying, pay attention to whatever your grief may be is your very testimony that Nancy and Trish and Susan and all of the partners in Women's Prosperity already has an answer for you. This is a treasure chest of wealth. And I started out on Wow Wednesday. I yield the mic, but no, I always have a voice. I love y'all.
I love you too. Thank you, Roz.
Roz, send me a message on Facebook because I have somebody I want to connect you with. It's like one of those divine appointments, I do believe.
Yes, ma'am.
And here's what I know is that just like Roz, you are listening in and you've got a passion to make a difference for people with the combination of your skills, your gifts, and your challenges and triumphs through them to share and serve others. And our job, what we're passionate about, is ensuring that you are fully equipped to do the work and service that you have been uniquely appointed to do. That's why we do the trainings we do. Because if you don't get good at sales and get comfortable with it and transform it into selling and serving and all of that, if you don't get good at that, there are people sitting out there that you could have helped that will continue suffering.
Right. But I love y'all, and y'all, even those don't put a label on yourself. You know how we've heard from our sisters who say they're introverted. Y'all, your yes is your existence shines. And we know from y'all's testimonies that y'all have been vulnerable and transparent to share with us the ins and out of life. So y'all, it's time for your stories within ourselves. What is it, 25,000, but maybe not that active, but I've seen numbers of 25,000 women who have connected to Women's Prosperity Network.
And more.
And more. So I'm just saying, y'all get it out. I love y'all.
I love it. Yes, I love the acronym for yes. Your existence shines.
That's a good one.
I love that, sister. Thank you for that.
She's so good. You are loved, appreciated, celebrated, valued, and most cherished.
Whoops.
I nailed it.
You did. You got it right.
Let's go ahead and go to one more caller before we wrap up. Evis Ramirez, did you have something you wanted to ask?
Evis, how are you doing?
Hello, good morning. Thank you so much. We always learn something. Thank you for this service. So glad to be here and listen to you all. It's really empowering every Wednesday, so thank you. So I just wanted to ask, can you tell more about when their main objection is, I don't have the money? How can we close that, and what is the best approach?
It's such a great question, Evis. You know that it's never really about the money. Some wise person once said to me that price is only a concern in the absence of value. So generally, we haven't matched the value to their needs.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, we haven't shown them that this is worth it. So here's what I do. I ask some questions that gives me the answers when they say, I don't have the money. So one of those questions is, and this is in my uncovering process, if I'm speaking to a business person and what I'm offering them is something that will make a difference in their business, and let me just be perfectly clear, whether I'm offering them a marketing plan or I'm offering them a spiritual plan that works on their emotions, I am helping them in their business. Get that? Mm-hmm. You're a human being and your business is affected by everything. So if you're dealing with low self-esteem, if you're dealing with confidence, if you're dealing with trauma that's holding you back that you don't even know is holding you back, it affects your business. So one of the questions I always ask is, when I have permission to ask questions, is on average, how much do you earn on an average sale? So then they would tell me, my prices are generally from here to there, I'd say $500. So when money becomes the issue, I can equate the number of dollars they're going to spend with the number of sales they have to make to recoup that. So if I'm offering you something and we're talking about $500, because usually when we're having our first conversations, it's not that much more. But regardless, I can simply say, well, you did tell me that the average sale is $500. So what we're talking about here is one additional sale per month. Now, if you were to have that perfect scenario that you outlined to me and your desire, if you were to have that, how challenging would it be to make one more sale a month? And generally they're going to say, well, if I felt better about myself, or if I had that marketing plan, or if I knew whatever it was you're going to tell me, I could make one more sale. So start with that question, one more sale. Find out how much money are we talking about? And secondarily, when you're talking about money, what you start to do is ask them, how long have you dealt with this problem? That's another question. Because think about how much money you've lost because you don't have this skill, because you don't have this confidence, because you don't have all of those things. How much money have you lost over the past 7 years as you've been dealing with this? Or how much more could you have earned if?
Great. That is so good, Trish. Love it.
But
Love
the
it.
problem is we don't ask those questions, so we can't quantify anything. And when people say to you, it costs as much as a Starbucks every day, that helps people to see we're talking about pennies a day. So break it down. That's the other thing. But you've got to have the questions answered so that you can get that ball over the net, because you know what their costs are, what they're spending, all of that good stuff. I hope that helped, Evis.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome.
Awesome. Great questions. Great conversation today. And it is all just a conversation. So,
Good.
Trish, I want to say thank you for joining as our guest today on Wow Wednesday. I always love when we have these conversations, and we get to do it pretty often, often than most, but less than most might think. And I always learn something from you. So thank you for being my personal mentor, guide, teaching me to get comfortable with sales and speaking and all of that. I love you so much and appreciate you, sister.
Right back at you. Thank you so much. And thanks for having me. And everybody, just go out there and remember, it's just a conversation. And you know what? If it doesn't go the way you want it, it's not the last conversation.
Perfect. Perfect. All right, everyone, get out there, be the one, let people know you care about them, reach out, pick up the phone, text them, get on Zoom. There are people out there who would welcome hearing from you when you're getting in touch with them because you care. So get out there and do it. Join me for the class today. Join us for the workshop. We love you and we'll see you later. Bye, everyone. Bye, Trish.
Bye-bye. Have a great day, everybody.